Welcome to RPM News Weekly, a roundup of important automotive news that goes behind the headlines. I'm your host, Rich Tabor. There's nothing like a good New England winter for discovering just how all-weather friendly a vehicle really is. With that in mind, RPM News Weekly travels to Middleboro, Massachusetts this week for the annual NEMPA Winter Vehicle Test Day. Each winter, members of the New England Motor Press Association gather to test drive a slew of all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles in order to determine which ones best satisfy the winter needs of New England drivers. After voting, winners are selected in 10 categories, and an overall winner is recognized as the organization's Winter Vehicle of the Year. Awards are presented at the annual NEMPA Conference and Awards Ceremony, to be held this spring at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Here in New England, we love our lobster. We've got some pretty good breweries. We support our teams, and we drive in all kinds of weather. The weather is sloppy.
Yes.
We could all be sitting home or maybe contemplating our snow blowers, but instead we assemble here in Middleboro with all of these cars side by side to try them out. Cars, trucks, things that you can take out into the sloppy weather, and I guess that's the reason for it, isn't it?
Yes, well, you know, New England, we have weather that one minute it's beautiful and sunny, and the next minute you have 1.5 feet of snow on the ground. And you have to have a vehicle that's going to be able to handle both of those things. So it's a good thing, bad thing, but perfect day for us to be testing winter vehicles.
And in fact, we're going to be seeing out in the roadway, there's still an awful lot of slop from the last storm. There's more predicted, and that's why this matters in this part of the world.
It really does. You know, you need to have a vehicle that can get you out. It's not an area where you can say, oh, I just won't go out because it's snowing. Well, then you're not going out for 6 months because you never know when you're going to get snow here. So it has to be something that's capable of handling any kind of weather so you can get to work, to school, to the grocery store.
And I think what you're describing is a very good reason why this type of vehicle's proliferated, because if you think back, there was a time when there were not very many choices of vehicles that had that kind of capability, and the ones that were available, you kind of, I wouldn't say you needed an engineering degree to be able to operate them, but there were levers on the floor. There were locking hubs you had to get out and work, and now they're much more consumer friendly.
Right, and that's the point. You know, most people don't want to have to get into a car and think about how they're going to drive it and what they need to do. Like, okay, what's the weather? What's the conditions? What do I need to do? And these vehicles are an example of no, you don't have to stress out about it. You can just get in the car. It can read what's happening. It has the capability to do it, and you can just go about your life and go about your business without having to worry about the weather.
Now, we've kind of established the fact there are an awful lot of good vehicles out there available to take out in this kind of weather. So why do we do this? Why do we put them side by side? Why do we compare them?
Because, you know, you don't get an opportunity as a consumer generally to drive 50 different cars back to back and see how that truck and that truck and that truck all compare. So even us, we're driving them all the time, but to have that opportunity to have them right up against each other in the exact same conditions, you really get to compare how well they each handle the same circumstances.
Now, this is a day and age, too, where a lot of people will go online and they'll do a whole bunch of their own research. Why do they need to bother with folks like us?
Well, I think research matters. You know, research matters to give you a benchmark for what you're looking for so you know which vehicles have the features you want. But, you know, the automaker's website isn't going to tell you theirs is better than ours at this. You know, you need us to sort of tell you those things. So we can give you a little bit of opinion based on our experience, which you're not going to get just looking online as easily.
And I can't help thinking from the automaker's point of view, this is where the rubber meets the road, and if we give them a gold star, it really means something.
It does. You know, we have voting, and we've driven some of these cars during the year. Having them all here at once means that if there's one that we didn't get a weekend, didn't get some time to drive, we still get an opportunity to judge that before we make these votes, and we'll sit in there and we take it seriously.
Okay, I think we should quit talking and get behind the wheel.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Nicole.
Sure.
How's it feel with this type of kind of messed up roads here with a lot of snow and ice?
Yeah, we actually have horrible roads right here, to be honest. It hasn't snowed since yesterday, but there's a good couple inches of rutted, slushy, snowy mess on the roads. It is the kind of thing that makes you reconsider whether or not you want to go for a drive, but this is not a problem. I mean, it's handling it like a champ. You can feel the car bouncing a little bit in the ruts, but you'd feel that no matter what kind of car you're driving. But as far as feeling comfortable and in control, it's a very confidence-inspiring drive.
Fiat is the 500X, and I kind of get the X for crossover. 500, I kind of question because there's a smaller car that we've come to know called the Fiat 500. This is a bigger car, and there might be some confusion. But it's, I guess, the way you'd go if you wanted to make a small crossover sport utility vehicle and you were Fiat. It is a little bit bigger than the 500, a little bit roomier. It's got more ground clearance, and of course, it's all-wheel drive. It feels pretty good on this rutted mess.
This is a Volvo XC60. And Volvo's got a lot of press for a lot of the new cars that they've come out with. The S90 sedan, the V90 wagon, the XC90 SUV. But they still have two kind of older cars left in their lineup, and that's the S60 and the XC60. But just because they've been around for a while, I don't really think you should count them out. This car is still great in the snow. That's why it's popular in New England. You got all-wheel drive. You're getting good fuel economy out of its Turbo 4, but you still, when the roads clear out, you have 302 horsepower out of the Turbo 4 engine. If you like Volvos, you're gonna love this car. It does feel a little old, but as far as on the road is concerned, it's perfectly sure-footed. I have no problems here driving, and the plows run through here now, but earlier, it had no issues with it. So, yeah, it's the Volvo XC60, and it's still around.
Tune in next week for another edition of RPM News Weekly. I'm your host, Rich Tabor. Thank you for watching.